Hello and welcome to this behind the scenes look at motion capture for Star Wars Heir to the Empire. Now, this particular scene I'm working on is for chapter 16. It's a seat that's inside Luke's X-Wing cockpit. So as you can see, I'm wearing the motion capture suit. It's a Perception Neuron V1, which is the first generation suit. So there's a sensor here on the back of my head. There's some on the shoulders for the torso section, and of course down here at the hips. I've got on each arm here, and of course the fingers and gloves for wrists. The whole suit has legs, but this scene doesn't require any walking around, so I'm not wearing those. The suit is very adaptable that way, so I didn't see much point putting them on, and I'm just going to be standing here anyway. So, before I get started, what I like to do is I've got a recording, it's kind of a rough edit of the dialogue, which I'll be playing back on my laptop here. And the laptop's also going to be recording the motion capture, its performance itself, using the built-in software. So I listen to the playback of the rough edit so I get a sense of the timing for the dialogue and things that are happening in the scene. So it'll be slightly out of sync from what you hear, because I'm going to be reacting to it rather than acting to it. But if you were to take that audio and then link it up, resync it slightly to my actions, it should line up perfectly. And I find that by doing this, I get a really good performance, because my actions perfectly match the scene, rather than me trying to memorize and guess the dialogue. Or sometimes I would record the dialogue myself and do a rough edit, but it's better to have the actual dialogue, because the way I say lines is going to be different from the way the voice actors say the lines. So this is the best way to do it, at least for me. So I will be playing it on my laptop when I start recording. You can see me act out the scenes, and what I usually do is 3 or 4 takes. I'm just going to record 1 take, because you don't need to see me doing the same thing 4 times, and then after that I will edit it in so you can see some of the process of the cleanup, which is things like if I put my hands together like this, then what you might see in the motion capture performance is something like this, or my arms would be clipping through each other, which obviously I can't do in the real world. And so I fix that by putting my hands back together like this, and there's other little glitches like that which I like to iron out to get a much smoother performance. And then of course at the very end I will show the completed scene so you can see how it looks. It's all tidied up, it's rendered properly with all the effects and everything else that's going on. So this is an action scene in the cockpit of the X-Wing. It's going to cut. The final scene is going to cut between those shots and sort of external shots of the ship flying around, doing all the exciting things that it's going to be doing. I didn't factor those in with the timing for the audio clip, because I'm just going to be sitting here doing nothing for 10-20 seconds while the action is going on. So just to save my time and your time, that's all edited out. But once you see the completed scene, that will be added back in, and you'll get some sound effects which I have added in so that I can react to that. So it's not just dialogue; it's going to be a few other things as well, which you'll hear when I get started. So I think it's time to get on with it. So the suit's all configured. All I'm going to do is press play. There's going to be there's going to be a 5-second delay before anything happens. I always do that with my sound clips because it gives me a chance to press play and then get into position ready for the capture performance, rather than mad scramble and then get a messed up beginning. So you'll get 5 seconds of silence, and then things will get interesting. So let's start the motion capture performance. You'll hear a beep. Actually, it's asking me for the name of the file, so we call it C16 Luke for chapter 16 and the character Luke. If there are multiple characters in the scene, then I would do the same thing. So it would be Luke, and then I'd have C16 Han and C16 Leia and so on. But in this particular scene, it's just Luke. There we go, that's recording, and we will start playing the audio.
R2? What happened? Where are we? 20 light years short of Jamark?
Unidentified starfighter. This is the Imperial Star Destroyer Chimera. Transmit your identification code and state your business.
Let's get out of here. R2, find me the nearest edge of the interdictor's gravity well. Come on, work.
Unidentified starfighter. I repeat, transmit your codes or prepare to be detained.
I see it. Hang on, R2. Deflector's up, R2. Just a few more seconds. Stand by for light speed. Tractor beam, I know.
Unidentified starfighter. You have no chance of escape. Power down and prepare to dock.
R2, we're gonna try something tricky. On my signal, I want you to reverse trigger the acceleration compensator. Full power. R2, now!
I messed it up, but I will do it again in my second take.
We're free! Light speed, go!
There we go, that's my first take. I reacted in the wrong direction. The ship went to go backwards and I kind of did that. It should have gone that way. So I'll do that, I'll fix that again in the second take. But I hope you found that an interesting performance. I was doing things like touching buttons in the imaginary cockpit and reacting to the ship being thrown around and so on. And one thing I didn't do, which I'll do for the second take, is I always hold my finger up, except this time, which I forgot to do it, to say which take this is. So when you're looking at the performance, and you're instantly at the beginning of the take, that's take 1, take 2, take 3, and so on. So yeah, that's basically how I act out a scene. If I'm walking around, then I will walk around the room and try and make a note of where all the other characters are. But yeah, this is just a basic scene. Looking forward to seeing how it turns out, because it's an exciting action sequence that involves me sitting down and pressing imaginary buttons. But yeah, so I'm going to finish off the recording session now, and then we will go and see how it looks in the software and clean it up and take it into iClone for finishing it off and adding all the effects like I said, and there we go. So see you there. So this is the motion capture data within Axis Neuron, which is the motion capture software that comes with the suit. As you can see, the character is tilted. As I mentioned before, I did not wear the leg sensors to record this, so the legs are just going to be very stiff, which means the character is going to be at odd angles, and the legs may do strange things as the character moves. Now this is going to look strange here, but once it's in iClone and animated properly, it will be absolutely fine. I didn't wear the leg sensors because the legs aren't visible, because Luke's sitting down in the cockpit of the X-Wing, so you don't see them, he doesn't have to walk, so I saw no point in actually putting those on. So this is the character and the data, and we're going to have a quick look through. I'm skipping through on the timeline. See, look, now he's standing up straight. The wrists are and thumbs are twisted at odd angles. That does happen. It's an early first generation suit, so it does have some glitches like that. But they are easy to fix within iClone. I'm not going to fix them right here in Axis. I'll carry on going. You can see the head's moving around. So the arms clip, again, this is a very common motion capture problem, and again, it's very easy to fix within iClone as well. So that's not just a problem with this particular suit, it's something that happens with any kind of motion capture, is the limbs don't necessarily match up quite the way you want. But as I said, they're very easy to fix within iClone, and you'll see that when we get to the next stage of the motion capture. So we're looking through, and there we go. Got, 2 fingers there, so this is the second take of the clip. As you see, I have my hand there to pressing play on the laptop for the audio, so I could sync up with what I was doing. And I just press play there, so you can see a little bit of it in action. Yeah. So what I would do is go through all the takes and pick out the one I liked, and then let's say I did use this particular take 2 starts there. So on the slider here, I select the beginning point of what I want to use. That will do nicely, and find the end point, reaching up for the top of the X-Wing cockpit there. There we go, that's take 3. So we'll go just before that. That should be right. So then that's the end point of what I want to record, to use. So go to File, Export, and the best settings to use with iClone are Processed BVH, and then you need to add head and tail T-pose, and then press the export button. So pretty much instantaneous process. And then we move on to the next step, which is importing the animation into iClone itself. So I've imported the animation into iClone, and it's ready to be used. Now let's just look in the X-Wing cockpit set. What I need to do is go to the content, select the animation, which I've already fixed, and then you double click and it adds it to the character. So as you can see, I press play. But as you see, there's some issues. So when he looks down, his helmet's covering his eyes because he's looking down a bit too far. As we watch through this sequence, we'll pick out other moments where the character's moving in ways that probably shouldn't be for the scene, but we need to make a note of them, and then we'll come back and fix them once we've gone through the whole lot. Again, his eyes moving below his helmet, so he's hidden. It's not really it's an easy thing to fix. You just need to find out where it is in the sequence. This part seems to be okay. As you can see, that there's no lip sync yet. That comes later. This is just all about making sure the actual body animation is okay. So as you saw there, touching the X-Wing switches on the above his head, his hand doesn't go above his head. So again, that's another thing that we need to look out for and fix. The rest of it all seems okay. Move down a little bit too much off camera, and then again that's another thing to fix. And that's the end of the sequence. So yeah, there's a couple of moments, like I said, where he's looking down too much, so you can't see his eyes. So we'll find the first moment there. Right, when he's shaking around, that's fine, but when he's just talking, that's not good. Alright, so what we're going to do is start with the button pressing, or the switches, and his hands not reaching up high enough. So we find out this moment here is before he reaches up, so we need to make a note of that. So for some reason the motion window isn't showing up, but you can see what I'm doing there, the little gadget there to rotate his arm. I'm basically setting a position as a keyframe moment where his arm is in the right position. Now we're going to find this keyframe moment here where his arm is in the wrong position, and then we just lift up his hand so it's off screen. There we go. Exactly where we want it to be. And then we find a moment afterwards where we can put another keyframe with his hand in the right position, and that's it. Right, we're going to go and find the next moment of looking down too far. There we go. Just tilt his head up. That's better. Not quite perfect. Just a little bit more. There we go. That's better. Now his head's looking up a little bit too much. A little bit too high, so we'll lower it down again. Have a quick look to see how it looks. Play it back. That's good. Yeah. So these little triangles over Luke, that's the skeleton for the character model. It helps animate the character. It doesn't look like a human skeleton, but the idea is these bones are linked together and attached to each other, and then they're attached to different parts of the body. So we watch through it again, and you can see my performance compared to the way it's looking in iClone. Of course, you can't see me there. There we go.
Unidentified starfighter. This is the Imperial Star.
A few moments where Luke's off camera.
Identification code. State your business.
There we go. That's a bit. It's kind of fun to sit in the seat and move around like that.
R2, find me the nearest edge of the interdictor's gravity well. Come on, work.
Unidentified starfighter. I repeat, transmit your codes or prepare to be detained.
I see it. Hang on, R2. Deflectors up, R2. Just a few more seconds. Stand by for light speed. Tractor beam, I know.
So the picture of me disappears where
You have no chance.
I cut
Power down.
the Luke's animation so that he wasn't moving when the camera was focusing on R2. It does interfere with the timing just a little bit, and I wanted the video there to sync up with what Luke's doing on screen. Right, so that turned out really well, and now we'll have a look at the completed rendered scene.
R2? What happened? Where are we? 20 light years short of Jamark?
Unidentified starfighter. This is the Imperial Star Destroyer Chimera. Transmit your identification code and state your business.
Let's get out of here. R2, find me the nearest edge of the interdictor's gravity well. Come on. Come on, work.
Unidentified starfighter. I repeat, transmit your codes or prepare to be detained.
I see it! Hang on, R2! Deflector's up, R2. Just a few more seconds. Stand by for light speed. Tractor beam, I know!
Unidentified starfighter. You have no chance of escape. Power down and prepare to dock.
R2, we're gonna try something tricky. On my signal, I want you to reverse trigger the acceleration compensator. Full power. R2, now! We're free! Light speed, go!
So, I hope you found this sort of behind the scenes motion capture video interesting. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Heir to the Empire, there's a movie edit. Chapter 1 to 17 are released already. Keep an eye out for 18 onwards. And thank you for watching. May the throne be with you.